The man charged with breaking into Houston rapper Bun B's home and putting a gun to his wife's head has been sentenced to 40 years in prison. 25-year-old Demonte Jackson pleaded guilty to forcing his way into Bun B's home back in 2019. We break down this case with Charles Adams in today's Making the Case. Now to talk more about this sentencing here today, we are now joined by Bun B's lawyer and personal friend, Charles Adams. All right, Charles, overall reactions to this sentencing today?
Well, I think Judge Brian Warren got it right. I think he did a great job handing down an appropriate sentence, but I really have to commend Morgan Klein and Tiffany Dupree, the two prosecutors that did a fantastic job pushing back on defense counsel's arguments that can be reduced to, oh, he was mentally ill, oh, he has a low IQ, oh, he's a drug addict. When they pointed out that he was, an athlete, he attended college, he graduated high school, he had an indulgent father, and he just never had consequences. And I think the judge saw through all the nonsense and handed down the right sentence both for the Freeman family and for the city.
Yeah, I know one of the things that really struck me was Bun B and his wife Queenie both on the stand, very emotional testimony. What was it like for you to see them up there having that conversation, sharing their story, but also now this whole thing is over 5 years later?
Well, I will tell you, it was painful for me to see my good friend Bun cry, which is not something I've seen before. It brought tears to my eye, but I was most impressed with the courage of Queenie Freeman, right? This had a devastating impact on her life. For people that don't know, he pushed his way into her house, put a gun to her head, repeatedly threatened her life. Later in the shootout with Bun, did shoot at Bun, but told Queenie many times he was going to kill her. And Queenie, trying to save her husband's life, insisted that he stay upstairs. Obviously, he didn't listen, but this was a courageous woman who was courageous then, and she was courageous in her testimony yesterday as well, and she has to be applauded, and I think that's why justice was served.
Yeah, and it was powerful testimony from Bun and his wife, but we also heard from the suspect's parents as well, talking about his upbringing. For people not familiar with the courtroom, as a judge, how do you weigh some of that testimony there in that sentencing before you hand it down?
Well, as a judge, you're supposed to listen to it all and consume it all, and then make a decision as to what you think is what you have to consider the entire range of punishment. And we're here, it was from deferred adjudication to 99 years in prison. Interesting, the original judge, Judge Warren was not, he was the third judge. The original judge, after this man pled guilty, gave him a very low bond and let him bond out to somehow show whether or not he would earn and deserve deferred adjudication on an aggravated robbery home invasion. That judge is no longer on the bench, thankfully. But he got out. He committed multiple federal felonies, went to the federal penitentiary, finally found his way back to Texas because he fled, and he's in our county jail, terrorizing older inmates, throwing bottles at the staff, and yet still has the audacity to come here and ask to be considered for treatment and help. This was a monster, and we're all safer because the DA's office did such a good job and the Freemans were courageous enough to go give testimony.
Hey, Charles Adams, now always a pleasure having this conversation with you. And we have so much of that testimony on Fox Local. You're going to hear from Bun B, his wife, as well as the parents to the suspect who's now going to be serving 40 years in prison.